Hey everyone, Shaun Stevenson here, author of the Throne series. And oh wow, how did this even become a book series? That is my question. After I finished reading Spinetinglers book number 1, The Substitute Creature, I am not going to leave you in suspense. I actually hated this book. It was so hard to get through. I fell asleep a total of 5 times while I was reading this book. And this book is not long. It's like 120 pages. Not that small a font. I mean, it should be an easy, quick read. It's in a series that if you've watched any of my other Spinetinglers reviews, I have actually loved these books so much. So I am baffled why book number 1 was so awful. How did this book series continue? That is my biggest question. So let's talk about this book. Now, Spinetinglers is a book series that came out in the mid-90s by M.T. Coffin. You know, such a classic author, M.T. Coffin. I love M.T. Coffin. So this series came out in the 90s based on the popularity of Goosebumps and trying to build into all those middle grade spooky books that were coming out. And, you know, there are tons of these series that were coming out in the 90s. They're so fun. And there's some that are so classic. Like you have Shivers, you've got Graveyard School, you've got so many good series that were out there that continued on the tradition of Goosebumps. Even R.L. Stine's own Ghosts of Fear Street. Even though R.L. Stine didn't actually write any of those books, they were in a similar vein to the Goosebumps style where spooky things are happening. There's groups of kids that are trying to figure it out and see what's going on, solve the mystery behind it. And I gotta say, this is the 4th Spinetinglers book I have read. And the other 3 were all 4 or 5 star ratings from me. I loved them. They were so good, so inventive. I just could not get enough of them. I also know that a couple of them, like Snow Day, is not one that a lot of people loved. I loved that book because I thought it was so interesting what the author was doing with this apocalyptic story. It was so much fun. And you also had, Don't Step on a Crack, which I thought had one of the scariest villains in a middle grade book that I've read. You also had Check It Out and Die, which was such an interesting book in my opinion. I can't tell you what that book's really about, but it blew my mind, the twist ending. I thought that's an amazing idea. I love it so much. And that book had kind of a Page Master vibe, which I just absolutely loved. So I was super excited to read this one, and I thought, all right, we're getting back to school season is coming up. A lot of people are going back to school, all those sorts of things. So I thought, why don't I read a back to school kind of book? So I picked out The Substitute Creature based on, I've loved so many of the other Spinetinglers books. This will probably be another fun one to read. Oh my goodness. I could barely get through this book. It was so difficult and so boring. I legitimately sat there and I thought, is something gonna happen? I am my eyes were closing as I was trying to keep them open to read. I legit kind of whacked myself in the face a couple times to be wake up, keep reading, because I thought something interesting was going to happen. And nothing interesting ever did. Even there was one sequence later on in the book that I thought, okay, maybe this is where it's going to come out. And I was getting so excited about it. And then it ended up being actually nothing. I was so excited because as I was reading this book at the very beginning, I thought I was going to get to use that meme, the lizard meme that's been going around all over the place. I think it's from Elio, that Pixar movie that came out. I actually didn't see that movie, but I thought of that meme because I thought, oh, maybe this is a lizard creature thing. Maybe that's what's going on. No. I'm going to tell you right now, don't even waste your time with this book. I would not read it. I don't recommend it. Don't waste your time with it unless you too need to fall asleep and get some rest. Then sure, pick this one up because this will put you to sleep. It put me to sleep 5 times. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. You have a main character here who is just paranoid as all paranoid, but won't talk about it with anybody. The character's name is Jace, and you start off with him and you're thinking, oh, this could be really interesting. The regular teacher's out, like, due to sickness, and so Mr. Hiss, the substitute teacher, is coming in to take her place for the, until she can get better, which is probably gonna be like a month. And so Mr. Hiss is a little bit odd and a little bit interesting, and the kids are all kind of like, ooh, what's going on with this guy? And the other kids seem to be doing fine with him, except for Jace, because Jace walks in to a room where Mr. Hiss seems to have blood all over his face. And Jace is convinced that Mr. Hiss is actually some kind of a creature. And so he's trying to figure out what's actually going on, and the book goes from there. Jace the entire time is just paranoid. He won't talk to any of his friends about it. He won't talk to any adults about it. He won't even really do much investigating. Like, there's a few times when he goes to it. I'm probably making this sound better than it is, honestly. It's just that boring. Like, there is a sequence where he goes to try and investigate, like, who is Mr. Hiss? Like, what's going on? And it ends up being nothing. Like, he rides his bike to this place and he's looking around and he learns zero. And I just thought, and it wasn't even like suspenseful, like, oh, you're going to get caught. Like, oh, be careful. Oh my goodness. Nothing. I am baffled how Spinetinglers became a series. I have not read book 2. And I'm super curious if book 2 kind of took this series on an upswing, because like I said, the other books I've read in this series, I have actually loved. Like, I loved them more than a lot of Goosebumps books because I thought they were so interesting and had such great ideas. This book had no good ideas. It was very blah. It was just so boring. And I'm going to tell you, I'm still not going to give spoilers. Because in case you are like, oh, maybe I will like that book, and you come to it and maybe you will like it. I am always here for, someone else might read a book that I don't like and they might love it. Someone might read a book I love and they don't like it. That's totally fair. That's why this is all opinions. It's just all different people's opinions. But in my opinion, this book is so boring. And the twist ending, I thought, that's your twist? That's not a twist. That's so disappointing. It was legitimately extremely disappointing. And I kept thinking, this is so just weak. This whole plot is weak. There's nothing of substance here. Like, I legitimately can't think of, like, a part of this book that I enjoyed. I really did not like it. So I'm going to tell you right now, Spinetinglers, I have found other books in the series to be really great. This one was really terrible. So at the end of the day, I am going to give a very generous 1 star to the substitute creature. I can't wrap my head around it. This is just one of those books I thought, how did a series come out of this? Probably my best guess is that the authors had been signed for 3 or 4 books. And so they got 3 or 4 in, and perhaps books 2, 3, 4, which I have not read any of those. I've read book 5, which is Check It Out and Die, which I loved. If you like Page Master, if you like spooky books, that is a great book in my opinion. I really loved that one. But this one, they must have signed them for like 3 or 4 books, so they were contractually obligated to release 3 or 4 books, and 2, 3, and 4 must have sold in order for them to keep going, because they go quite a ways in this series. There's a lot of books in this series. So they must have sold in order to keep signing them for more books in the series. I just am baffled by this one. I think this one was a miss. I'm going to hope that this book didn't even crawl. It sat there so the other books could run. I hope. I don't know. I am not turned off to this series, mainly because, like I said, I've really enjoyed some of the other ones that I've read in it. So I'm not going to give up on this series at all. I'm going to keep reading other ones, and I'll let you know what I think of them when I read them. But for now, skip the substitute creature. Just don't do it to yourself. Please, I beg you, don't do it. And until next time, everybody, keep reading other books than this. Bye!